Hey guys, it's Pam here from Travel with Pam, and today I'm going to share with you how I plan my trips. In this case, how I unplan them. Luckily, the mud is off me now. That wasn't very nice. It's unfortunate that this time a lot of people have had to cancel, replan, or reschedule holidays. So today I'm really sad because this would have been me, but I've had to cancel my trip to Turkey and Cyprus. Unfortunately, didn't get to hang out with one of my favorite photographers. Would have been quite a lot of fun. So I'm here editing instead of being on this plane going to somewhere new, exploring. So I'm really sad because this was my flight and now it's no longer. But let me tell you about how I go about planning my trips, because I'm usually asked this question, so I've had to plan and unplan. So let me share some of that planning and unplanning with you. I'm going to share my top 10 planning tips with you. The first thing I do when I'm planning a trip is decide on where I want to go, and it's usually a place that I haven't been. I try and find a place where it's an overnight flight to get to, so I don't waste too much time traveling. And generally, if it's an overnight flight, then you watch a movie or sleep, and the next day you in a different country, which is quite awesome. Number 2 on my list would be to determine the number of days that I would like to be traveling, and it usually depends on the place that I'm visiting and what I want to see. It's generally between a week and a half to 2 weeks that I like to plan my trips. My trips are also often planned off-peak because it's quieter, it's sometimes cheaper, and the queues to get into sites are not that long. It's also quite a nice time to travel because it's in between seasons and the weather is generally quite nice. So I like to travel off-peak. Tip number 3 would be plan your budget, because holidays can be quite expensive, and depending on the number of days that you want to travel and the destination, it can become quite pricey, especially if you want to do some of the activities in those destinations. If you've enjoyed the video so far, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification. Would really appreciate your support. Number 4 is you want to check flight prices. Always compare prices on the different airlines. Some nice travel sites to look at: Travel Start, Expedia, Kayak, Skyscanner. They all give you comparative prices between the airlines, and you can check what the best flights that are available. My flights are usually determined on the duration of the flight, whether it has a layover or not. I'm not too worried about the layover, but it can be quite lengthy sometimes and you lose travel time. Also, the times of departure and arrival is a big factor. Quite important is the price of the ticket. So it's very wise to compare airlines and see what the price of the tickets are. The next step in planning my trip as a South African, it's very important to know whether we need a visa or not to visit certain countries. Most countries we do need a visa to visit, so planning a trip based on visa requirements, and you need to plan in advance because sometimes the visas take quite long to process. For this trip of mine that I was planning to visit Turkey and Cyprus, so Turkey is quite cool because you can submit an e-visa application and it takes about 3 days to process the visa, And a bonus is that the visa is actually free for South Africans. The Cyprus visa is a little bit more complicated, as you need to fill out an application form and go to the consulate in order to apply. What I realized about Cyprus is that it is an EU country, but it is not part of the Schengen visa country, so you need to apply for a separate visa to visit Cyprus. Unless you already have a Schengen visa, then you can use that to visit Cyprus. A multiple entry visa to Cyprus is 60 euros and a single entry visa is 20 euros. Also takes about 3 to 4 days to process, but you have to visit the consulate in order to apply. As part of the application process for the Cypriot visa, you need your travel itinerary, you need your hotel booking, flight details, medical insurance. So there's quite a lot of visa requirements. They're the standard visa requirements for most countries. Something to note about Cyprus is that you have to enter from one of the legal ports, as it has a number of illegal ports because of the Turkish occupation of Cyprus. So the legal airports of entry are in Larnaca and Paphos. Step number 5 in my process of planning is to plan your itinerary based on your interests and the places that you want to visit in each of the countries. For instance, in Turkey, I wanted to definitely visit Cappadocia, and Pamukkale is the cotton castles, which has white cliffs and blue pools, something I really wanted to visit. And Cappadocia in Turkey, which is basically volcanic eruptions that created the valleys, and there's great hot air balloon flights across this valley. I also wanted to visit Istanbul and get some of the sights of the city, especially the Hagia Sophia Mosque. In planning my trip, I like to use a spreadsheet, and I use Excel, which is really convenient and easy. And what I do is I put down the dates of my travel, the places that I want to visit, flying on a specific day or taking the train or the bus. I'd like to put in those details, the flight details or the bus details. I add in my hotel accommodation with the names of the places, the addresses, and the price of the hotel, so I can do my budget as well as planning the different destinations. As you go along, you basically add more information onto the table. I was still busy planning this trip, so I didn't get to complete the full itinerary. And in Cyprus, I wanted to visit Ayia Napa, Limassol, and catch some of the sun. Not that I need the tan, but the beaches look absolutely stunning. Once you've done your research and your planning, you want to book your hotel accommodation, your flights, and the activities in the different places. Sometimes if you leave your activities for the last minute to book, you can get really good discounts, so that's something that I like to do. My tip number 8 would be book travel insurance, as you never know what could go wrong. For instance, your bag may not arrive or your flight may get cancelled, as with the unexpected COVID-19. Step number 9 would be to pack essentials. Pack light instead of taking a lot of things that you may never use on your trip. So pack light rather than taking a whole lot of stuff. Make sure you take your essentials. I always make sure I pack my chargers, cable, camera equipment, and clothing depending on the season. You want to make sure you're covered for both hot and cold weather. And tip number 10 is my favorite, is off you go and enjoy your holiday. So that's the normal process of planning your holiday. In the unfortunate event, as currently I've had to unplan my holiday, which required rescheduling my flight, also unbooking accommodation. Try to book accommodation that allows you 7 days cancellation, which is always useful. So tours and activities, try and book as late as possible because you may not get refunds on them. Unbooking your holiday can be as complicated as booking it, and sometimes, unfortunately, you may lose out because of the cancellation policies. It's unfortunate that this time a lot of people have had to cancel, replan, or reschedule holidays. Hopefully, we'll all be back to traveling soon. I'm sure many of you are missing it just as much as I am. Holding thumbs that we'll all be traveling soon. I hope you found planning of my trip useful, and hopefully it helps you in planning your trips. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.